So now we're going to do a program where you're going to draw a square. So we're going to do some drawing. But first we should think about the pseudocode so we can make a plan of how this is going to look. And you'll notice maybe some new box here that I've introduced for the pseudocode, these green ones. We've got this erase all, pen down, and pen up. Because when we introduce drawing, we have to be even more explicit about the instructions we tell the computer. Think back to the video I showed you about the kids writing the instructions for the dad making the peanut butter and jam sandwich. Steps, they had to be really detailed with those steps because steps that they assumed would happen wouldn't happen. So for example, you see this idea of putting the pen down. If you just say draw or move your sprite, he's going to move. But if you don't say put your pen down, he's not going to draw anything. So we actually have to have a pen down, and then later you see pen up, because you're going to be moving your thing all around the screen. And if you forget to lift the pen and you move your sprite someplace, it's going to leave a trail behind. So we have to be explicit about those steps. The other part that's important here is this new part here that we have that we'll talk about in a second. But I want to go right to these blue commands. So these blue commands are going to be moving the sprite. And if we put the pen down and move the sprite, it'll draw a line. So if we think about actually how you would draw a square, you would start in some spot, and then you would put your pen down. No, don't just move, because you see it won't leave a mark, but you put your pen down and move, and that would draw a line. You have to say how long you're going to move. And then if you're going to draw the next part of the square, you kind of have to turn around. So you're going to have to tell the sprite to turn around, the cat to turn around. If you don't, it'll just draw another line over here, and we don't want that. So we got to tell the sprite, okay, turn around, and how many degrees. So of course it's a square, so we're going to turn 90 degrees. So turn 90 degrees, and then draw another line. So he's turned around and he's drawn a line. And then again, turn around again. So we'll rotate around, draw another line. And see how close I am here. Pretty good. I don't think that's all right. And then turn around and draw another line. Looks like that was a little bit short. But you get, if we had told it to move the same length, it would draw that square. Okay? Now, so these commands here are moves. So they're actually the motion ones. So we're going to say move a number of steps. I'm going to say 100 steps. You'll see what that looks like in a second. So you're going to move 100 steps, or even if we forget about being that thing, we just say draw a line. And then we have to tell it to rotate. Rotate 90 degrees. So those commands, now since there's 4 of these, we should have 4 of these blue things. Draw another line, rotate, draw another line, rotate, draw another line, rotate. But we wouldn't want to do that 4 times. That takes a lot of work to write all those 4 codes out or drag out all those boxes. And can you imagine if you're drawing something with like 100 sides? You wouldn't want to have to write in 100 lines of code. So we're putting it within this orange structure. And if you think back to some of the examples we had before, this is going to be called a loop. So we are going to say do this and then wait 1 second, and then loop up and do it again. And since it's the same set of instructions, we can do this loop. And we can, so anytime you've got the same set of instructions that you want to do over and over and over, you can put it in the loop. So it'll draw a line, do 90 degrees, wait, and then loop back up, do it again. And we just tell it how many times we're going to loop it. And so what you end up is something like this. So there's your stuff. There's your start your loop of 4. I did have move, I guess, move 100 steps, turn 90 degrees, wait. And then since I haven't done it 4 times, it's going to go back up, do it a second time, go back up, do it a third, do it 4 times. Once it's done 4 times, we've ended that loop. And then we'll lift the pen and move on. Okay? So that's kind of the things that we have to think about, that we can be efficient when we're doing our drawing. So we're going to go over to Scratch then and create, and we'll create a new one. And we're going to call this draw square. again, I'll shrink this and make my things a little bit bigger so you can see. So first we have to do, of course, is go to events and have our starting point. We got to start the program. Make this a little bit bigger for us. And, oh yes, the pens. Okay, so now if you look here, you'll see that I don't have any pen commands or any pen tools. That's because this is an add-on that we're going to add to the program. So if you go down to the bottom here, bottom left, you'll see this, and you'll have all sorts of different things you can add in. We're only going to look at the pen thing, so we're just going to add the pen tool by clicking on it. And now you see you've got an extension about a pen and a new set of blocks that we can use. So it says we're going to go erase all, and then we're going to put the pen down. So that erase all is a nice way to get a clean sheet. So we're going to go erase all, and then we're going to put the pen down. All right. Now, before we start this loop, I'm going to just talk about these two motion steps. So we're going to build out these motions. So you're going to move and turn. So it's under motion. So you go up to the top blue one, and you see it's got move 10 steps. So I'm going to bring this over here. I'm not going to attach it to my program because I'm just going to do this. And we're not going to move 10 steps, we're going to move 100 steps. And this is on our screen. It's kind of by pixels, so 100 should be a good size. And then we're going to turn. Now notice you can turn clockwise or we can turn counterclockwise. And to mirror what I did here, I'm going to go and turn counterclockwise and go up. So I'm going to choose this bottom one. It really doesn't matter, but we're going to turn counterclockwise. But its default is 15 degrees, and we don't want that. We want to change that to 90 degrees. So this should move and turn. But we want to repeat those steps. So we're going to do a loop. So loops are under control. It's orange. And you can see we have a repeat 10, and then it kind of has an arrow coming back. We don't want the forever. You could loop with some conditions. That's what these ones are for. Or you can repeat until. We're going to repeat this. So we're going to repeat like that. We don't want to repeat 10 times. We only want to repeat 4 times because it's going to draw each side of the square. So we change that to 4. And what are the steps we're going to repeat? It's these 2, and we'll put in there. And so we have repeat 4 times, draw this, circle, draw, and go. I'm going to purposely ignore this weight. You'll see why we have that in a moment. But I am going to end the loop, and I'm going to do pen up. So I go back to pen and bring the pen up. And that looks pretty good. So let's test this. This should work in that we're going to erase the screen, put our pen down, move 100 steps, turn 90 degrees, and go. So let's see what happens. So I'm going to push go. And it happens so fast because it's doing this super quick as the processing will go. So you might even just blinked and didn't even see it. So that's why I added this little wait in there. So I'm going to go back and have this wait 1 second. So the wait is under an event, I think. Yeah, there it is, or a control, sorry. Yeah, right, there's your loop. And then wait, so I'm going to add in wait 1 second. Let's see how that changes the experience. So draws, waits a second, draws, waits a second, and go from there. Now, so that worked. We drew a square, and we've got the basics. So while we're here, let's save this just to be safe. You can push save now right here, or file, save. But you notice that when we're going to be drawing these pictures, you got this big cat in the way. So one thing you could do is down here on the instructions, you can hide the sprite. So it will only just draw it without the little character. So that's something you can do. Or you could make the sprite smaller. You see it's 100. I'm going to make it like 20. And so now we get a better sense of what's going on. Okay, now here's a couple of other things. We've essentially got the program done. But here's some things that will make this program a little bit cleaner. So let's say by accident, I had, instead of typing 90, I had put 9. I forgot the 0. Let's run the program. Oh, now the sprite's way off my screen. Okay? And it's like I've lost the sprite. So if I fix it and I go, okay, we'll draw 90 and push go, well, look at, because the sprite was over there, it's doing the work, but it's doing it all the way over here. And I don't even know if that's a box. Like what has gone on with my program? Let's try it again. Oh, at least it's now drawing a box. But it's all off to the side here. And that's because it's just going to go to where the sprite last is. So we can add some new commands to help bring the sprite back. So one of them, we can go to motion. And we're going to, where is it? Go to, I don't know why this doesn't say this. I think on yours it's going to say go to 0, 0. That's the default. I'm not sure why mine has changed. But I want you to change that to go to 0, 0. And we're going to put that right after the erase all. So there's actually a grid hidden behind here that is like a Cartesian plane, and the middle is 0, 0. So that's the origin. So if I do this now, it might look better. So if I run the program now, he's going to go to the middle, but why is he drawing that? Well, if you look closely, if I bring my cat up to a bigger size, you'll see that he's twisted from all the mistakes I had made before. So we want to get him facing in the right direction to draw our square. So the other thing you can add to your program is point in direction 90 degrees. So I'm going to drag that in. Point in direction 90 degrees. So that 90 degrees is straight out like this. And so now the program should work really nicely. And if I make that same mistake, like 9 degrees by accident, and I get the cat going off the screen, when I fix the program, because I have told it to come back to 0 and get in the right direction, it should work. Yeah, he comes back and draws there. Okay, so I'm just going to switch him back to a smaller version. But I feel like I've got now a really nice program. I'll shrink this. That has thought of all the mistakes that could pop up. So it's going to erase, bring the cat to the right position, point in the right direction, and then put the pen down, repeat this loop, and put the pen up. One of the things, if I forgot the pen up, and I had made that mistake, so again, we'll have him go off here, make that mistake. So sure, I have fixed it, so brought him back to the middle and done that, but if I don't lift my pen, he's come back and left a mistake. And again, every time he comes back, he's now making a real mess of it. So we have to be explicit about our instructions and add the pen up at the end of the program. Now, oh, I think I started it halfway through. I'll just sort of stop. There we go. Yes, it starts now. Oh, and I forgot, of course, to change this back to 90. And now it's back to what I want. Okay, so I would tell you to save this program. For my class, I'm going to ask you, no, you don't have to hand this in. But my challenge to you now is I want you to take what you've learned about drawing the square, and I would like you to draw a triangle. So save this program, but we're going to go save as a copy. And we're going to change the copy. So this is a new program that's not going to affect your old program, but we're going to change the name to triangle. And save this. Okay, so it's already saved now. All right. So I want you to see if you can draw a triangle. I'm going to stop here My video will continue on in a second with the solution, but I'm going to challenge you, the viewer, to try this on your own before you come out and try the thing. So good luck. Okay, if you've tried it on your own, hopefully you've had some success, but maybe if you're struggling, I can help you finish it. So a couple of things that's pretty obvious that we're going to have to change to our program for the triangle. First is we're not going to repeat 4 times, we're only going to draw 3. But the rotation is what we have to change. But if I think about a triangle, if I want it all to be the same size, that would be an equilateral triangle. So my gut is that I don't want 90 degrees in the corner, I want 60 degrees, because 60 plus 60 plus 60 is 180. And I see that most people, this is their first attempt at drawing the triangle. So we're going to go and test it out. Go, and then go, oh, wait a second. That's not what I was expecting. And the reason is, remember, it's rotating counterclockwise, so it rotates this way. And if you go 60 degrees, it's only going to go that much. We need it to rotate a lot more. So maybe much more than that. 90 gets it straight up. I got to go more than that. And I think it ends up being 120 degrees is what I need to turn all the way around. Now let's see what happens. Turn 120, and then I get our triangle. So hopefully you had a chance to do some fiddling and were able to eventually figure that out. But there's the answer to the challenge that I had. So if you haven't, save this now. And my class, I'd like you to share this, copy the link, and hand in the Draw a Triangle program in Google Classroom. The rest of you are good luck. Our next video will do some more fun stuff with drawing triangles. Or drawing, sorry, different shapes.